You could have. You just have to pick it up next door.
Oh, I didn't know.
Could have done.
So did you guys do the online thing yesterday? You had the online, the Facebook thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Everything was live yesterday. Because I only had 3 people here in class.
Oh, and then the left.
Everybody else decided, oh, Bruno gave us the okay not to go in the snow, so let's stay home.
No, it was bad yesterday.
And then I had a few people that joined us in the beginning and then disappeared.
By the way, about Christmas, when is the party, Bruno?
Oh, I can't hear you. What?
The party.
It's a party every day. Right now it's a party.
I don't believe
It's the
Bruno.
practice test B
Bruno.
party. Let's start. So, first question.
Bruno, don't put that. You're
Of course, when we
gonna
pass
do a
the
party
state-
for us?
state test.
I will do a party for you. So, can we start?
No.
7:10 already.
Okay, sure.
Ready? So bad. So bad. All right, so make sure your books are closed. You do not need the books today. Make sure everybody has a calculator. Great. And now, a house contains screens, smoke alarms, and crystal chandelier. The contract of sale mentions none of these items specifically. Before final closing, the seller has the right to remove the screens, because they are trade fixtures, the smoke alarms, which are personal property, the chandelier, because it's an appurtenance, or none of the items. Now, we're not raising hands, we're writing down the answers because this is a test. So write down the answer, please.
You cannot say the answer,
No.
but I know the answer.
Okay. Always. Do you want one of those pills? Can I give you yesterday? Like,
Can we, is there more than one?
did everybody answer?
No.
Okay, write down the answer. And the correct answer for 1 is,
It's
wait is not an answer. It's A, B, C, or
D.
D as in David is the correct answer. None of the items. Very good.
D.
2.
B.
D.
We already answered that one. D. Is David.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, wait, then I didn't.
Before final closing, so.
Okay.
Before final closing, the seller has the right to remove.
I know you can remove the smoke alarm because you can't close without.
Yeah.
Can't remove anything. These are fixtures.
But what if they never sell the chandelier?
I'm sorry?
What if they never sell the chandelier and they want to take it?
No, you can't. You know, right.
So these are fixtures. None of the items. They're sold with the property. If they wanted to exclude, they should have specifically mentioned in the contract. Now, number 2. The amount of earnest money deposits is determined by state law, the broker, agreement of the parties, the local association of realtors. Who determines the amount of earnest money deposit? Write down the answer. Write it down. Okay, and the correct answer is?
C.
C.
No. C is in Charlie. Do you need a piece of paper?
Oh, and we need to mark which ones
No,
are
no.
wrong and right?
Yeah, so mark whatever you have wrong, because at the end, you're going to count the ones you had wrong. We're going to figure out what percentage you had. This is just to assess yourselves, okay?
Would you be willing to give the chapter that the answers are?
If you ask.
Okay. So if you need something specific. Because that was a good addition yesterday.
Yeah?
Because then I can go back in my notes and.
If you guys ask, I will.
Okay.
All right, ready? You have 110 questions to go over. Last day, so work with me. Nelson McDonald. Anna, could you please sit over here next to Francie? Or Stephanie, one of
Or
you.
here.
Or here, you know, so you
No,
miss it.
here.
Right here.
I'm putting it in here, Stephanie, don't look at me.
Well, it depends. I'm trying to get to 110 questions.
You're not going to control her anywhere, she says.
Michael, did you bring that Nigerian tranquilizer?
I'm gonna take off our roof.
All right, 3. Nelson McDonald sold his house on his own and still owed a broker a commission. So the seller sold through his own efforts, but still had to pay commission. He must have signed a open listing, net listing, exclusive right to sell listing, or exclusive agency listing. Write down the answer. The seller sold through his or her own efforts and still owed commission no matter what. All right. I have 2 people watching from home. Make sure you guys answer as well in the chat. The correct answer for 3 is
C.
C as in Charlie. Exclusive right to sell, because no matter what, the broker still gets a commission, no matter who sells the property. Good. 4. Which can be executed without subjecting the signers to further responsibility for title. So before we go anywhere, remember the question is subjecting, meaning making the signers, whoever signs this document, responsible. Okay? Quitclaim deed, special warranty deed, or bargain and sale deed. Which one of these releases the liability from the seller? One of these gives a bunch of liability to the seller. Write down the answer. And the correct answer for 4 is
A.
A as in apple. Quitclaim deed provides the least protection of any deeds to a buyer. All right? If it's a warranty deed, it provides the greatest protection to the buyer because the seller is giving all the warranties and guarantees, right? Quitclaim deed, hey, you're on your own. Okay?
Chapter?
19. I think.
Okay.
All right. 5. It says here, the utility company dug up Andrea Dunham's garden to lay gas lines. The company had an easement recorded at the county clerk's office. Andrea claimed the easement was invalid because she was never told about it. The easement was valid even if she had never heard of it, was valid only if the company could prove that she knew about it when she bought, was appurtenant, or had expired if it had not been used for 10 years. Okay? Let me go back up. This is about a utility company that went into your property to put gas lines. Andrea did not know about it. Was this valid? Was it not valid? Was it abandoned so it expired? Right? For 5, the correct answer is
A.
A as in apple, because it's an easement in gross, the simple right to use someone else's property. Okay? Now, this is a long question. What do we do with long questions? Skip them. Okay? Not today, but we will skip, mark, and at the end go right back to it. Now, 6. When a court orders real property sold to satisfy an unpaid lien, this process is known as easement, encumbrance, attachment, or foreclosure. When a court orders the property to be sold to satisfy unpaid liens, the process is known as, write down the answer. And the correct answer for 6 is
D.
D as in David, foreclosure. Okay? So, first thing to remember is what is a lien? Money. So if it's unpaid money or claims. Okay? Yeah. Calculators. Everybody has a calculator? You have one? You got it?
Oh. So I was waiting for that. I was like,
I was aiming at it. That's why I went to the side. Anyway. Tax rate is $7.80 per $100 assessment. If property is valued at $87,500 but is assessed for 50% of its value, what is the total tax, property tax, I'm sorry. So tax rate, $7.80 per hundred. The property is valued at $87,500 and assessed at 50% of that. Are taxes based on assessed value or based on market value? Assessed value. So the first thing you need to figure out is assessed value. Good. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Is it $682.50, $3,412.50, $6,825, or $13,650?
B.
Correct answer is
B.
B as in boy. Did everybody get B?
Yes.
Any questions here?
No.
Okay. the
Sweetest hand. Go ahead.
This one.
Okay, so I got the answer, and I always do this. So I have to move. I know that you have to turn the 780 into percent, but you have to move the decimal, right?
So to make it easy, it's $7.80. Take the dollar sign, add a percent sign. So it's
Yeah, I do that,
7.8%.
but do you still move
Nope.
the decimals, my thing?
If you want, but your calculator allows you to
I
calculate.
didn't. No.
Yeah, so your
I
calculator
got the
allows you to
answer.
your calculator allows you to do percentages.
Yeah.
So all you had to do is 87,500 divided by 2 because it's 50%, easy, right? Multiply that by 7.8%, and it gives you 3,412 and 50 cents. Right, Karen?
I think the most important is to
Glad you
remember.
finished chapter. No, good. Yeah, I don't know the answer. I divided mine by 100. It's still the same thing, right?
It's the same thing. So, okay, so if you guys divide by 100, because it says
Divide by
per
two,
$100,
divide by 100.
same result. All I try to show always, and is that right here, where it says per 100,
That is
means percent.
100%.
Okay? Every time you see per 100 is percent. So all you have to do, take the dollar sign out, add the percent sign, and you're good to go.
Okay, so
But
7.8.
you divide it by 100, no problem. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you would have a huge number. And you would notice from the answers that you're not going to pay $341,000 a year in taxes. That would be your result if you didn't divide by 100. So you knew that something was wrong. It was per 100. All right? In case you guys are wondering, this is chapter 22, math chapter. But you should know also chapter 8, which talks about taxes. It's assessed value, not market value. 8. When appraising an office building, the appraiser is most concerned, says most in big capital letters, most concerned with accrued depreciation, annual mortgage payments, comparable sales, or net annual income. When appraising an office building, the appraiser is most concerned with what?
C.
Write down the answer. Write down the answer, and I'm giving you time to correct your answer.
Thank you.
Write down the answer. It's an office building. We have many sales to compare them to. Are there many offices for sale? Excuse me. I will move you. Behave. So the correct answer for 8 is
D.
D as in David. How did you know? D as in David is the correct
Thank you
answer.
for the explanation.
Every time we're talking about something that doesn't have regular sales, like 1 to 4 family, you see a bunch of sales, so it's easy to compare. Office buildings, apartment
Not
buildings, not many, right? But they generate income, so we look at a net annual income. The other one would be cost approach if they don't generate income and there's not many sales. So we look at the cost approach, okay? In case you guys are wondering, this is chapter 16.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna say all this mean cost of branch.
What it means?
Mhm.
The question is coming up, so I'll address it. Today's the day. All right, so a borrower obtained a second mortgage loan for $20,000 at 10%. It called for payments of $175 a month over a period of 5 years. The final installment would be a balloon payment. This loan is a fully amortized loan, partially amortized loan, straight loan, or blanket loan. Write down the answers. Do not tell me, just write it down. And the correct answer for 9 is
B.
B, partially amortized loan. Perfect.
Good job, Anna.
No boy. She was throwing bombs yesterday at everybody. I studied, I showed up. Like, you're very difficult.
Yeah.
All right, next. 10. Did everybody understand why it's a partially amortized loan?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So I don't
No, I just realized that half of the payments is left after 5 years,
Mhm.
and partial. I just went for partial.
You have for that. Okay, so that's chapter 14, just in case. There's fixed rate loans, and this is a fixed rate loan. Any loan that does not reach the last payment and the last payment equals 0. So they're paying $175 a month, right?
Mhm.
If the last payment was still $175, the answer would have been A. But because it's a larger amount, that means it was not paying fully into the loan. Partially amortized. Okay? Yes?
You know, I remember like 8 years ago, I heard with these people that did loan modifications, like they lowered the payments, but there was in little tiny letters, the balloon payment at the end.
That's because it was a forbearance. So I'm not going to dwell too much into this, but they're reducing your payments, but because it doesn't cover the whole thing, in order to make it affordable, they took a big chunk of what you owed and just threw it to the end. So it becomes a partially amortized loan at that point. Because there's a balloon payment, there's an inflated payment at the end. Absolutely. Now, 10. If the interest rate is 5%, you need calculators for this. If the interest rate is 5% and the monthly interest payment is $650, the principal sum, so the principal balance of the loan would be, calculators? Monthly payment, $650. Interest rate, 5%. What is the principal balance of the loan? If you guys had the steering wheel, what numbers would you use?
DNR?
BNR? Okay. We don't have the base.
I can't work with that.
No? Okay, so we don't have the base, we don't have value. We have a part or portion, which is the payment. but the number that needs to go there is always annual,
Oh,
not monthly. So if they're giving you a monthly number, what must you do?
Multiply by 12.
Ah,
Also, that's a P. The 650 will be a P.
portion, yep. It's not the whole value, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay.
Ready? Is it 130,000, 156,000, 84,000, or 325,000? The correct answer for 10 is B as in boy, 156,000. So it's $650 times 12. That number goes on top in the steering wheel, and at the bottom goes the 5%. Top number divides by the bottom number. You look at me like you're confused.
The total.
Interest, remember something. Interest is always, we highlighted this in the math class, for those that were here. Interest is always annual, like taxes are always annual, like insurance is always annual. So if the interest rate is 5% and they give you the monthly payments, we need to figure out what the annual payment is. So 650 times 12 is 7,800. That's the annual interest. If you go to the steering wheel, annual interest goes in the bottom, payment or portion of this value goes on top. So you do 7,800 divided by 0.05, and it's 156,000. Okay, so to make it better for you, at the request of Denise, page 195.
195, thank you.
Thank you very much.
chapter.
Uh,
Chapter one.
that chapter. 14. All right. 11. Ezra dies and devises. Before anything else, what does it mean to devise? Say it louder. Leave it in a will. So devises his real property to his second wife for her lifetime. After which the property will pass to Ezra's children. Now, Ezra's children own a life estate, a reversion, remainder interest, or estate for years. I see some of you going very quick at the answer. If I did not get to D and I did not finish reading D, please do not answer, because you never know. Okay? So Ezra died and left everything to the second wife. But upon her death, the property reverts to his children. The answer for 11 is C as in Charlie, remainder interest, because they're a third party. Who are the first parties? Ezra and the second wife. Right? He's not saying reverts back to me, and if I'm not alive, it goes to my children. He's saying immediately, I don't want it back. It goes to the children. So the children are a third party named in the instrument. Therefore, they own or hold a remainder interest. Got it?
Yep.
Good. You sure? Good. Any questions?
I need to go to page 195.
I don't think it's this one.
I know.
There's an example there I told you guys to highlight specifically. That's why I'm telling you to go to page 195. Now, 12. The prospective borrower decided to change the loan from an FHA insured to a conventional loan. So we have FHA loan, now changes to a conventional loan. In this situation, the lender must issue a new loan estimate, does not have to issue a new loan estimate, has to meet the original closing date or is responsible for any delays caused by the change. Write down your answer. And the correct answer for 12 is
A,
Okay.
why?
because,
It's a
because it's a new
Changes to the loan.
change.
Changes to the, it's not because it's a new loan, any change to the loan itself causes, triggers a new delay, 3 business delay, which is a new loan estimate. Any changes to the loan itself. So in this case, yes, it's a new loan. But it could have been a change to the loan. It could be, like yesterday we mentioned, not able to verify the income of the person, changes the loan, okay? With extra, please. Thank you. The market data approach is most important when appraising a church, older residence, apartment building, or newly constructed residence. Write down your answer. The market data approach. This is chapter 16. We're talking about appraisals. Market data approach is most important in appraising what? And the correct answer for 13 is
B.
B as in boy. Thank you so much. B as in boy. Who said D? Raise your hand if you said D as in David. 1, 2, 3. It's okay, the rest of you. 4. Anybody else? All right, so it's all on that boat. Got it. We're sinking because of you guys. You're like this. So here's what happens. A newly constructed residence. What can we compare it to? It's new. So it's very difficult to compare.
That's important.
No, because there's nothing to compare. Older residence, if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we have other properties to compare to. Brand new, it's difficult. You got it? That's why it's most important for older residences. Yes, Anna?
It's
The other
not,
end.
you cannot compare new residence.
You can, but it's asking most important. See, in the new residence, we're going to look at cost approach as well. Because there's not many new sales. It's new construction. Does that make sense? So we'll look at comparables, but then we're going to adjust with one of the other 2 approaches. You guys got it? Okay. 14. Among the several pieces of information that the lender must gather before issuing a new loan estimate is the applicant's signed affidavit that borrower has complied with fair housing guidelines, a statement of religious beliefs, of course, because when you apply for the loan, you got to know what kind of religion you have, social security number, or estimated earnings statement. Write down your answer. So you have a complete application before the lender can issue a loan estimate. What do we need to have? Write down the answer. And the correct answer for 14. Could you please close your book? We don't have books. Not today. So, the people from home were getting away with it. Right?
You're accusing me.
I saw Monica typing the answer already and then waiting. Let me trick him.
I wasn't typing it, I was typing a number, and then when you read it, I did.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing too. Typing the number and ready to put the letter.
Yeah, and then I have Francie and Sonia already giving me the answers before I even read it. Yeah.
No,
Uh-huh.
no,
Yes, Sonia.
no, Anna.
Yes, because we do white.
No.
Can I answer?
No.
It's C.
So, the correct answer for 14 is
C.
C as in Charlie. We need aliens.
It's better
This better
I
be
know
home.
it was down, but then I said,
Aliens. We need the address. This is chapter 15. We need the address right? We need the loan amount. We need what else? The income,
The buyer name.
estimate of value, name of the borrowers, and social security number to have a complete application. And once you have a complete application, then the lender has the 3 business days to issue the loan estimate. Okay? Did you notice that you can hear everything in your home?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Oh my God,
Forgot about that.
She's like jamming to that sugar. Go ahead, just do it. Just do it. The rest of the sugar. Why don't you just put coffee in the sugar? I mean, with all that sugar?
She's sweet. It's more sweet.
No, sweet is Anna. That's her
You know how
YouTube.
sweet I am.
No, her. Well, Francie, I'm sorry. What I meant was, for YouTube, you guys should change your YouTube names. That's what I was trying to say.
why?
I had this person once that had a really weird YouTube name.
Now we change conversation, right?
No, it's the same thing, actually. She took it the other way. I was talking about names. Anyway, 15. You guys took it the other way right away.
What other way, Bruno?
Not me. She said the other way, and she said, "You know how sweet I am." All right, 15.
I'll take
Because
the
you never
classic.
taste.
I'll take the classic. Then he'll know.
Broker Benson. All right, let me drink coffee for a second. Ignoring that right now. Broker Bensley. Janelle's having a blast. Listed the Corwin's property, right? And his salesman, Stan Sandow, accepted a check for $5,000 earnest money or good faith deposit for the offer. Now, Sandow should take the check and give it to the Corwins. Hold it until closing. Give it to Bensley or deposit it in Stan's special escrow account. Write down the answer.
Okay.
Just write down the answer. And the correct answer for 15 is C as in Charlie. Because it's not Stanley's money to deposit. And Stanley cannot have, or Stan cannot have an escrow account, correct? It has to give it immediately to the broker. Very good. All right. 16. Mrs. Hall signed a 30-day listing with the broker. The next day, she was killed in an accident. Thrown out the window. Now, the listing was invalid unless her husband ratified it. Still in effect for 29 more days. Binding upon her heirs if services had been performed or terminated. Write down the answer. Mrs. Hall signed a 30-day listing, but the next day she was killed in an accident. The listing was, well, in this case it doesn't matter. So if it's signed, it's either exclusive agency or exclusive right to sell. But what happened to the listing?
She's died. It's done.
She dies, it's done? What does that mean? Done. Oh, D. D for done. Got it. So terminated, yes. Because as we said in chapter 3, and we restated in chapter 10, death or incompetency of either party will terminate the listing. Okay? Death or incompetency of either party. 17. See, I'm giving you 2 chapters in a row. A widow received ownership of the family home for the rest of her life. This is very similar to the previous question. With title going to her children on her death. She owns a life estate, a leasehold estate, a remainder, or easement. Write down the answer. 17. The correct answer is A is an apple. Life estate, because it asks about her ownership. right? In the previous one, asked about the children, what would they get? Well, it's a remainder estate, right? In this case, they're asking about the owner of the property. What does she have? It's a life estate. Okay?
And what about if you was her children? Oh, the title going to her children. What would the children owe?
What would they get?
What would they get? A remainder.
Is there a remainder? Are they named specifically? I'm asking. Are they named specifically according to this question? It says yes, right? Because it specifically states she gets it, but on her death it goes to the kids. So what do the kids have? It would be C, remainder. Okay, it's the same question as before.
Yeah, but in that case was his children, not her.
Well, yeah, but when I said it was the same question, we don't have Ezra here. Okay, Ezra's gone. Now it's the widow. All right. Under a common law of agency, under the common law of agency, the real estate broker has a fiduciary relationship with the client, other brokers only, the seller's attorney, or both buyer and seller. Make sure you do not answer until I'm done. You never know if it's D. So, this is chapter 3. The real estate broker has a fiduciary relationship with who? First of all, what is fiduciary? That means I owe specific duties to a person that trusted me and confided in me with certain things, which is their money or property, right? So, under common law of agency, the real estate broker has a fiduciary relationship with, answer is A, the client, because the client hired the agent, correct?
Right.
Right. Any questions?
No.
19. You wrote both the buyer and seller?
I don't like that.
Well, what did you say, fiduciary?
Fiduciary?
Yeah.
It's trust. It's a relationship of trust and confidence where people entrust you and confide with you with their property and money. Okay? All right? What happened? Didn't I say the two of you are them? All right, 19. Title to real property is passed when the valid deed is escrowed, signed, delivered, or witnessed. Write down the answer. 19. Title to real property is passed when the valid deed is. And the correct answer for 19.
C.
C.
C is in Charlie. Yes.
And
Because it must be delivered and accepted. Okay? So if it was delivered, it was accepted. Correct? That's what makes it valid. Calculators. If it's a math question, what do we do in the exam? You skip it, leave it to the end. Very good. Now, we have a lot 80 feet wide and 200 feet deep. And is sold at, before you guys start writing anything, listen to me. It is sold at $500 per front foot. It's not per square foot, it's per front foot. Okay? Commission is 10% of sales price, and the selling person receives 60% of the commission. What does the salesperson receive? Before you start, there's two things to mention here. Front foot. There's a number there that's not needed. In the commission, it's asking commission for the salesperson. Okay? Go. Just showing you how to identify certain things in the question. Ready? Correct answer is 1,600, 2,400, 4,000, or 6,000.
B.
B as in boy, 2,400.
Totally wrong.
So, how did we get here? You shocked at that? Did you have it right?
No.
I'm glad you didn't teach the math class then. I'm just messing with you. So here's the thing. I told you guys, this you wouldn't know unless you were here.
Yeah, I just figured maybe that was a pyramid question. I didn't think it was area.
Yeah.
So I just did the pyramid of the front yard.
No. So front foot, I told you guys that the first number given or the first figure given, and we highlighted this in the math class. We put stars next to it. The first figure given, it's always front foot, always frontage. So if they said $80 feet wide, that's the first figure given. It's $500 of front foot. So 80 times 500 is $40,000. Yes?
Yeah.
That's the price of this lot. Now they said the commission was 10%. That means the brokerage receives $4,000.
Yes.
How much does the salesperson receive? 60% of that. So 60% of $4,000 is $2,400. Hi.
Hi, I have a question.
What's up?
So, can I, like, cause in my head, I remember when you said like front foot is like the first, like number, but I also associated it with width. Is that correct? Or
Excuse
no?
me. We have a question here. Hold on. I'll answer yours in a second. Say, Lana.
So like I associated like, when you said, when you think of front foot, think of like the first number that they give. I also associated it with width, cause I remember
Absolutely.
saying width is first. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that's why when I did this here in the math class, I told you to always draw the area. And I told you that the first figure given is always width. Then it's length. Okay? So if they say 80 feet wide is here. 200 feet deep is here. Always. You guys got it?
Yeah.
Always. And then the area is inside. Outside numbers multiply, inside numbers divide. But in this case, that was not needed because what they said is it's being sold at $500 per front foot. First figure given. Always. Front foot. Or frontage, as sometimes they call it. You got it? Good. What was the question?
No, it was just like the breakdown.
That's what I was trying to do. Just do me a favor. These are the only chapters like math and the reviews. You have questions, ask me. All right? Because the question that you're having could be the question that she's having. So I'll address both at the same time. And as I'm explaining one person, everybody's listening versus paying attention to what's going on. Okay? I promise I'll go through all the questions as many times as possible.
Thank you.
Unless it's the other end's questions. Then we'll just move forward. Yes. 21. 21. I'm not. Restrictive covenants that run with land are established by local municipalities, are binding on future owners of the property, must be approved by a court, or may not be more restrictive than building codes.
Please covenants again.
Covenants, promises, guarantees,
Yeah.
okay, warranties,
Thank you.
binding, okay, I'm sorry?
So restricted.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Thank you. I was going to be lost on that one. All right.
No secrets in the meeting.
No, it's no secret because I gave you the answer already. That's what it was. That's what she was saying. So, correct answer for 21 is B, as in boy. First thing to remember, restrictive covenants. These are deed restrictions. If these are deed restrictions, they're private.
Yeah, that's
If they're private, they're binding on future owners because they're established by the previous owner. The other thing that says it runs with the land. That means even if you sell it, it's still there, binding on future owners.
Unless you go to court and try to stay up.
Yeah, but that's needs approval from the majority of the neighbors.
Well, it is what, depends what the restriction is.
So the restrictions established by the previous owner or by the subdivider.
If it's by the,
Unless it's illegal, hold on, let me explain. Unless it's illegal, it's binding. Like saying, I'm selling to you, but I don't want any green people on the land.
oh, okay.
That's discrimination, it's illegal. So unless it's illegal, it is binding on all future owners. Okay, this is chapter 9.
So why you gotta go to members,
Sorry?
like the majority of the people around it?
You asked unless you go to court. So if the majority of people around want to change the subdivision, right, they can. But it has to be a moratorium. It has to be the majority of people showing up and requesting that the subdivision is altered. Okay? Again, chapter 9. 22. VA and FHA mortgages are notable for their subsidized payments, prepayment penalties, adjustable rates, or low down payments. Correct answer for 22 is D as in David, low down payments. Okay? Did everybody get this?
Yeah.
Any questions? No. Great. 23. Now this one's tricky.
You're gonna explain that.
Yes, please.
So as I was going at it, now this one is tricky. So I imagine her in the middle of a state exam, goes outside, picks up the proctor and says, hey, explain that. All right. Who is uniquely in a position to provide the TRID toolkit to a buyer, but not required to? Hold
No
on.
lender,
Hold on. Let me.
but
The other Anna, give me time.
Hmm.
Okay. So, the TRID toolkit, what is it? It's the getting your home loan toolkit. What does that mean?
it's a long.
It comes with a full description of the pros and cons of buying a house, of looking for the opportunity to look for different loans, right? So it's a booklet that describes risks, points, all that stuff. Everything we went through in chapter 14 is described and summarized in that booklet. Now, there's one party that's required to provide, but there's a party that's not required but should provide. Because one party does not have to explain. They have to provide it, but not explain.
Yeah.
Okay? So, who is uniquely in a position to provide the TRID toolkit to a buyer, but is not required to? The lender, the buyer's agent, the closing agent, or the insurance agent? Write down your answer. Write down your answer. I'm going to buy duct tape.
Chapter?
Okay. It's
Chapter 14.
so-
And the answer for 23 is
B.
B as in boy, the buyer's agent.
Okay.
Hold on, I will explain. That's why I said it was tricky right away.
I'm gonna suspend a copy.
Suspend my copy.
Yeah.
All right, so, guys, here's what happens. A lender, by law, is required to provide you with all this information. Hey, you should shop around for different rates, right? You shouldn't be stuck just with me. So they have to provide the toolkit. If I offer you points to reduce the interest rate. This is what it means. So all that is there. But that's it. They don't explain. It's there. They provide it to you. Take it. Run with it.
Okay.
Now, nobody explains to them. As agents, we know that they're going to need this information. Heck, we need this information, right? Because we should know, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Potential buyer, if you don't have income, you won't buy. If you don't have credit, you won't buy. If you don't have, does that make sense? Is this the right house for you to buy based on the type of loan? All that is in that booklet. So who's in a good position to provide it but not required to? We are. The buyer's agent. Did that explain the other end?
Yes, because I can understand the third.
TRID's toolkit, again, chapter 14 is the TRID is the Truth in Lending Act, RESPA, integrated disclosures. So as of October 3rd, 2015, they created this toolkit that explains all these things. Also the fact that you're supposed to get the loan estimate and the closing disclosure within the respective times.
Okay.
Okay? Next. 24. Private restrictions on land use may be created by, I think we answered this one already. Zoning regulations, building codes, deeds, or any of the above. Write down the answer. Private restrictions on land use may be created by, correct answer is
See.
C as in Charlie, deeds. Because private restrictions is from the seller to the buyer. Didn't we just go over this in the previous question? Okay.
Can I ask something?
Private,
$5 a question?
Okay. If zoning had done it, is that not considered private?
Nope. Because who's zoning?
yeah, I wrote it.
Who's zoning? The city.
Right.
Okay, so how's that private?
Right, so that's the difference in the.
That's
question.
public land use.
That would be the
restrictions.
difference, right? Because if it said restrictions on land, then it could have been zoning.
Listen, the moment you see private,
No, right,
seller, immediately.
okay,
So deed. These are the restrictive covenants.
got it.
Right.
But now, would building codes be considered restrictions on land?
Zoning regulations, building codes are restrictions on land, but these are public.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Restrictions.
So if private wasn't there, technically it could be any of the above.
Yeah, if it's just
Right, that's what I'm
restrictions,
saying. Okay,
yeah, on land, yeah. Okay. Next. 25. The use of a subtle means to induce buyers to settle in neighborhoods the broker thinks it's appropriate. It's known as blockbusting, redlining, bird dogging, or steering. Write down your answer.
Okay.
The use of subtle means to induce the buyers to settle in neighborhoods that the broker thinks it's appropriate. Not what the client wants, is what I think it's appropriate. Is known as, correct answer is, D as in David, steering. Chapter 4. Blockbusting is scaring people into selling. Redlining is refusing loans or insurance. C, bird dogging is you asking people to find deals for you. So it has nothing to do with discrimination. And steering is where we lead people to certain areas or away
But
from certain
yesterday
areas.
we had a question, similar question about it,
Mhm.
wasn't it?
yeah,
And
it
it
was
was
about
redlining. How was the question?
You're refusing to make a loan. That was the question yesterday. See, when you refuse a loan or refuse insurance, that's redlining. Are we refusing anything? No, we're just taking people away or to a particular area. Just like driving your car, steering wheel, away or to from a particular area.
What did you say, bird dogging?
Bird dogging is like you paying people finder's fees for finding you deals. But it's not something that's going to be tested. They just,
No?
bird dogging, no. They just throw the term. Yeah. So when you go hunting, you unleash the dog to go find the birds that you catch. So bird dogging technically is finder's fees. Find houses that meet my criteria. Okay, it's a hunting thing. Or so I believe. But anyway, so a mortgage broker usually offers what service? Handles closing procedures, brings borrowers and lenders together, provides initial funding, or sells mortgages on the secondary market. Write down the answer. What does a mortgage broker do? Correct answer is
B.
B as in boy. We bring borrowers and lenders together. Easy, right?
Yes.
If it's a real estate broker, what do? We bring buyers and sellers together. Brokering is mediating, putting two people with common interests together. Like Match.com. They broker relationships. Same thing. Like Lending Tree. They broker, just like here, borrowers and lenders. Anyway, like eBay. Same thing.
What do you do?
All right. What do they broker? Buyers and sellers. Product from the sellers and product for the buyer. All right. 27. A broker receives a commission only if she produces a buyer before someone else sells the property. She's probably working under what type of listing? Open listing, net listing, exclusive right to sell listing, or exclusive agency listing. 27. Look what it says. It says only if she produces a buyer before someone else. Doesn't say before the seller. It says before someone else. So, the correct answer for 27 is
A.
open listing, A. Very good.
What's net listing again?
That's right.
Net.
It's illegal. Net listing is where the seller takes whatever.
That's right.
Okay, got it.
Got
Perfect.
it.
In the exam, I can't be there to start saying the words.
Oh my God. I don't like that.
Well, it's fairly easy. Like when you're in class and fully paying attention, it works.
It helps that you read the questions to us and we're not reading it ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And you emphasize some words.
I emphasize it on purpose so you guys can look at how I read the questions. Mimic. That's all you have to do. The jokes. Remember the jokes. Doesn't matter how bad the jokes are. Remember the
My
jokes.
son told me yesterday, he's like, Mom, can you buy me those little walkie-talkies and you put it on your ear?
How old is your son?
11. And he's like, and you read the question and I'll tell you, Mom.
I'll tell you. He'll answer for you?
Yes. Like a little book and I'll tell you the answers.
At 11, did he go to school in Nigeria?
Why?
Why? He's already a scam artist at the age of 11 trying to beat the system.
Yeah.
Right?
And you said
Your
you exported to
explanation is-
Nigeria?
Your explanation is
What's
totally,
cleaner than yours?
your explanation is totally wrong, but I was just saying.
Yeah, he was next to me and he saw that I was missing some questions.
Okay,
about you, that's it.
that's what he cares about you.
That's
Was he born in Nigeria? That was the question. Or did he go to school in Nigeria? The Nigerian kids care about their parents. Anyway, 28.
That's good. That's because you force them to do stuff or you take the roof away.
Yes.
He said it, right? I put my kids to work.
Mm-hmm.
He'd sit back, relax on his couch, watching TV and whipping.
To the 100.
28. Investors will sometimes borrow money to make a real estate purchase. This practice is called a bulk transfer, an exchange, leverage, or pyramiding. Write down the answer. Investors will sometimes borrow money. They might have the money, but they will sometimes borrow the money to make a real estate purchase. This practice is called, write down the answer. Correct answer, 428, is
C.
C is in Charlie, leverage.
What is a bulk transfer again?
Bulk transfer, so that's chapter 17, is when you're selling a property that is commercial. So a business, for instance. Bulk Transfer Act is to protect creditors from sellers of businesses that will sell the business and run away without paying the creditors.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I
So-
remember, it's a bulk.
Okay, Bruno, protect
It's a light
sellers.
bulb.
That's bold.
I know, I remember the light, but
Close.
Bull.
Yes, business. All right. This one's funny. You guys are going to love it. A broker listing a house may be guilty of discrimination for purposely not mentioning the house to qualified Hispanic home buyers, of course, qualified black home buyers, of course, qualified white home buyers, or any of the above. It says right here, guilty of discrimination by not mentioning the house to, and the correct answer is
D.
D as in David, any of the above. Right?
Mm-hmm.
well, he discriminated everyone.
You discriminate against everyone, because discrimination is not just on a particular race or color, religion, national origin. It involves everything. Okay? It would be very discriminatory if this question did not have white people there. Right? See?
Yes.
Or gay people.
Hispanic, black, and white.
Or gay people. How do we go from Hispanic, black, white, and gay?
It's not discriminating.
No, I know, but we're under race or color. We're under race or color. I'm just saying.
We're talking about discrimination. So.
30. Deed restrictions are a method, by the way, that's under state law, not federal. But there's a good point, because there might be a question in the state exam
There is.
where it talks about homosexuals. It doesn't say gay, it says homosexual. Maybe, I'm not sure. Now, deed restrictions are a method.
He was like, 25 buyers.
Yeah, right. Deed restrictions are a method by which local zoning ordinances are enforced. The Planning Commission makes it work effective. Cities can control construction details, or the seller can limit the buyer's use. Write down the answer. We're talking about deed restrictions. If you go by process of elimination, even if you don't understand, excuse me, here. If you go by process of elimination, even if you don't understand it, there's 3 that mention one particular group and there's 1 that doesn't. Correct answer here is
D.
D as in David. Everything else is municipal, right? Seller is private, is the only one that doesn't fall into the category. So deed restrictions are private restrictions or private deed restrictions. Seller. 31. Which of the following exceptions is not allowed under New Jersey's fair housing law? Again, you have to know the difference between federal and state laws. A. Certain types of housing may be restricted to members of one sex. Homeowners may discriminate when selling their own homes. Religious organizations may discriminate on the basis of religion. Or D. When renting a duplex or up and down 2-family dwelling, an owner-occupant may discriminate except for race. Look at the question again. Which one is not allowed? Which one of the exceptions is not allowed? These are all exceptions. One of these is federal, the other ones are state. Which one is not allowed under state?
A.
Correct answer
B.
is
B.
B, as in boy. Because under state laws, the only exceptions are for rentals, not for sales. Under state law, the only exceptions to the rules is on rentals of properties, not the sale of properties. under federal, sale, or rentals.
Wait,
Repeat what you're
I'm
saying.
waiting.
you can discriminate, I'm sorry, you can discriminate when the owner lives, so if the owner lives in the unit, he can discriminate, right?
So, stop right there. Under federal law, we can discriminate. Under federal law, we can discriminate on the sale or rental of residential properties. Under state law, there are no exceptions on the sales. There are exceptions on rentals. These are allowed under federal. Okay? Certain types of housing may be restricted to members of one sex.
That's
Not a problem. It's an exception. Religious-based organizations may be discriminated on the basis of religion. It's membership. If you guys notice on A and C, does not talk about rentals, does not talk about sales. These are exemptions so far under federal and state. The only difference, if the question was a little different, right? The only difference between federal and state right here would be D, because under federal, if it's owner-occupant, like you were going with it, if it's owner-occupant, I could discriminate on the sale or rental of a 1 to 4 family residence if it's owner-occupied. Under state law, only for rentals of duplexes. Okay? Correct? So again, it talks about rentals. It's allowed in New Jersey. If it's owner-occupied, I can discriminate. That's the exception.
There's
Okay.
an exception for the units, right? If you
What
have
units?
10 units, something like that, you're not allowed to send the paper for the discrimination. I forgot. Something like that, right?
Go at it again. I mean,
Okay, so if the owner has 5 units or more, he needs to disclose the discrimination paper, right, or not?
25 units or more, I need to file an annual report with the Division of Civil Rights.
Okay, here we go. That's 25 units.
25 or more. Okay.
chapter?
This is all Chapter 4, discrimination. If you hear about discrimination, Chapter 4, fair housing. Okay? 32. The primary purpose of a deed is to furnish security, give notice, transfer title rights, or prove ownership. The primary purpose of a deed is to. Correct answer for 32 is
C.
transfer title rights. 33. A summary of the history of all conveyances and legal proceedings affecting a specific parcel of real estate is called. So before I read, the first thing you need to look at, it says summary. Okay? If it's a summary, it's something short, right? A short history of everything. So it's a chain of title, title insurance policy, certificate of title, or abstract of title. Write down your answer. Summary of the history of all conveyances and legal proceedings. It's called
D.
D as in David, abstract, because summary is an abstract. An abstract is a summary or a brief history of everything.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so in chapter 21, we talk about title insurance or proof or evidence of title. We talk about abstract and attorney's opinion of title. We talked about title insurance. We talked about torrent certificate, and we talked about certificate of title. These are the 4 evidences of title or proof of title, right? What they're asking is a summary of the history of everything that's in the property. What is it called? So when we go to pull stuff from public records, we're pulling an abstract or history of title. Okay?
Chapter 10.
I remember the
21.
chain because one day you explained that chain. Means that, no, I'm not correct, that it goes back all the first,
Well-
the first,
That's what all of these will provide you with, the B, C, and D.
but it's a summary of
It's a summary of the chain.
the chain here, here we go.
Yeah, a title insurance policy, they will also pull the abstract and provide you with the insurance. Okay, so in all of these, there's some type of commitment to the chain.
Because they're not going in detail with the abstract. The abstract is just a summary
It's
overall.
short of, so yes, just the dates, this happened, that happened, and so on. Yeah. Okay? 34. At the closing, the cost of filing the deeds in public records usually appears as credit to the buyer, credit to the seller, debit to the buyer, or debit to the seller. Write down your answer. At the closing, the cost of filing the deed in public records usually appears as, and the correct answer for 34 is
C.
C as in Charlie,
Why?
because the filing the deed in public records.
It's the buyer, never mind. Got it.
There you go. We closed. Anything from the closing and on is responsibility of the buyer. Anything before the closing is responsibility of the seller. So who pays for it? The buyer. It's a debit to the buyer.
So we see. Everything's right.
How did that work for you?
Yeah.
35.
Forbidden word.
The C or the longest one? 35. A person cannot successfully claim that he or she did not know about the contents of any recorded document. This legal principle is known as statute of frauds, actual notice, eminent domain, or constructive notice. Write down the answer. I cannot tell you that I did not know because of what principle? Correct answer for 35 is
D.
D as in David, constructive notice. See, if I have something written here on the computer and it's available, it's right here, right? All of you can get up and come see it. It's constructive notice. It's given notice to the world. It's available for you, right? But is everybody checking it out? No. It's available. If you didn't, it's because you have no interest. You guys got it?
Yeah, and you could definitely rule out C, right?
Eminent domain, yes. Rule it out.
Way off.
36. The purpose of TRID's loan estimate. The purpose of TRID's loan estimate is to ensure buyers do not borrow more than they can repay. Real estate brokers are responsive to buyers' needs. Buyers know how much money is required, or buyers are aware of all costs relating to their mortgage loan. Write down the answer. The purpose of TRID's loan estimate. The reason why we provide loan estimate.
What chapter is this in?
15. Why do we give the loan estimate? This is under Regulation Z, Truth in Lending Act. Why do we provide a loan estimate? Correct answer for 36 is
D.
D as in David. The loan estimate is given to you within 3 business days after a completed loan application and provides you an estimate of all the costs of borrowing money. Okay, so every time you see TRID and loan estimate or Regulation Z, is about knowing the true cost of financing. Okay? Questions? You all right?
Oh, yeah.
No. Calculators. We were only on 37.
I know.
Calculators. A building was bought for $250,000 with 10% down and a loan for the balance. If the lender charged 2 points to the buyer, how much cash did the buyer need? First thing to remember, what is a point?
1%.
Of? Of the loan amount, not the purchase price. You gotta remember, 1 point is 1% of the loan amount, not the purchase price. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just, if it's a man, we'll just keep it.
What happened?
I'll just skip it.
You just skip it?
Yeah.
Because that's what I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's math, you skip it.
I didn't bother to do
Is it $20,000?
I'm skipping it.
Take it as time.
22,500,
it. Just skip it.
25,000, or 29,500?
D.
Correct answer is
D.
D as in David.
What did I do wrong?
All right, so here's the thing. The question is, we have a loan of 250,000.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the purchase price, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Purchase price with 10% down payment, yes? And 2 points that the buyer has to pay. How much money does the buyer need? So, things to remember. 10% down payment equals 90% LTV. That means loan to value, correct? Okay. 2 points equals 2% of loan. Didn't I say that before? All right, so back to this. How much is the down payment?
25,000.
Why 25,000? Because it's 10% of the purchase, right? 25,000. That was easy, so I don't have to do any calculations. That's the down payment. What about the 2 points? Well, an easy way to do would be on your calculator, because we have amazing calculators. 250,000 minus 10%. Okay. I could do the steering wheel or make it even easier on you. 250,000 minus 10%.
Times 2%.
Hold on. 250,000 minus 10%. What was the number that you got?
225.
225,000. That's the loan. If 2 points equals 2% of the loan, right? Now you can do the steering wheel if you want. We have 225,000. We have 2%. Bottom numbers, what do we do?
Multiply.
Multiply. What number do we get?
4,500.
What is it?
4,500.
This is points. How much money does the buyer need? Well, it's a down payment plus 4,500 in points. Total is 29,500 is how much I need to bring at the closing. You got it? Questions? No? Sonny,
No, I'm good, thank you.
you're good? After she threw her hands in the air like, I'm telling you, usually it's not paying attention to something. Can I erase this or you still writing it down?
Bye.
Question? You good?
Hmm?
$38. A mortgage loan payable in installments sufficient to pay the principal off by the end of the term is called a fully amortized loan. We already answered this before. Partial amortized loan, straight loan, or blanket loan. Correct answer for 38 is A, fully amortized loan. The first payment, the subsequent payments, all the way to the final payments are exactly the same. We get to the end, and the last payment brings the balance down to zero, is a fully amortized loan. Okay? 39. Which of the following deeds contains no express or implied warranties? Bargain and sale deed, quitclaim deed, grant deed, or warranty deed. Write down the answer. And 39, the answer is B as in boy. No expressed or implied warranties. A quitclaim deed provides the least protection of any deed. Which one provides the greatest protection of any deed?
Warranty.
Okay. 40. The disclosures required by TRID. The disclosures required by TRID apply to brokers selling office buildings, security salespersons with limited partnerships, Ginnie Mae when purchasing mortgages, or lenders financing a purchase of a residence. Correct answer for 40 is D as in David. TRID rules only apply for the purchase of a residence. Very good.
Is there this many questions on TRID in the exam?
There might be. We repeated how many times the same thing in one chapter. Chapter 15, we repeated this like 3 times. And then chapter 21, we mentioned it again. So maybe.
Maybe.
A comparative market analysis is usually provided by the appraiser, the listing agent, the lender, or the closing agent. Who provides a CMA or comparative market analysis? Correct answer on 41 is B as in boy. The listing agent. We do the comps.
Comparative market analysis.
Yep. Got it? It says it's usually provided by who? Chapter 16. Or you can also do chapter 11. I'm sorry, 10. Or you can, I mean, so many chapters. 42. Yeah, just study all of them. 42. A legal action brought by either the buyer or seller to enforce the terms of a contract is known as an injunction, a specific performance, list pendants, or attachments. A legal action brought by either buyer or seller to enforce the terms of a contract is known as, write down your answer. The correct answer for 42 is
B.
B as in boy, specific performance. What is the specific performance of the contract? That the seller sells and the buyer buys. Okay? 43. To avoid possible violation of the antitrust regulations, one should avoid any discussion of a commission with a competitor, other associates in the office, potential listers, or anyone. To avoid violation of the antitrust regulations, you should avoid any discussion of commissions with. Write down the answer. And the correct answer for 43 is A is an apple, competing offices. We should never disclose what type of commissions we're doing in the office. That violates the the Sherman Antitrust Act. Dinner served. 44. Cash flow means the amount of money flowing into and out of a property, bookkeeping function accounting for each day's money, total remaining money after expenses have been paid, taxes, mortgage payments, and operating costs. Write down the answer. Okay. Just write down the answer on this one. She's not going to be able to pay attention to this anymore. All right. We're almost there. The correct answer for 44 is
C.
C as in Charlie. Perfect. 45. Which, I'm sorry, the town allows construction on quarter-acre lots. One subdivision has a restriction for at least, it's supposed to say 1 acre lots. Okay, so here, 1 acre. Okay, which statement is true? If the town issues a building permit for a quarter-acre lot, no one can block construction. Neighbors in the subdivision may enforce the 1 acre restriction by calling on local police. The town will not issue a permit for less than 1 acre lots in the subdivision, or neighbors may enforce the 1 acre limit, but only through a court order. Write down the answer. Write down the answer. The correct answer.
If he was down there,
No.
I need to call the police. I go there and take everything.
The correct answer for 45 is
D.
D as in David. Neighbors can enforce the subdivision limits through a court order. 46. Rex Vale lives in one side of a duplex. He refuses to rent the other side to Marion Washington, a single black woman with good credit and income.
my heart.
He tells her he wants to choose his neighbors. Marion may have a remedy under which of the following acts? Fair Housing Act of 1968, Civil Rights Act of 1866, New Jersey Law Against Discrimination, or none of the above? Write down the answer. This one should be easy. The correct answer is B as in boy, 1866, race or color, right? Very easy. In the valuation of a large office building, which approach is given the most weight? So which one is the best for this type of building? Cost approach, income capitalization approach, market data approach, or all have equal weight? Correct answer for 47 is B as in boy, income capitalization approach, because it's an office building, there's income. Correct?
Yeah.
Great.
It's like the other one.
I'm sorry?
We already went into it previously.
Yeah, we did. Very good. Sometimes that's what it is. You'll have a later answer answering a previous question. Now, the broker must pay Social Security taxes, workers' compensation, and unemployment insurance for all associates, part-time salespersons, independent contractors, or employees. Write down the answer. A broker must pay taxes, compensation, and unemployment insurance for who? Correct answer is employees. Correct. 49. Fiduciary duty forbids a listing broker advising a seller that the list price is too high, negotiating for an offer if it is below listed price, advertising property at less than the listed price, relisting the property at a lower price. The fiduciary duty forbids a listing broker from doing what? Write down your answer. And the correct answer for 49 is C as in Charlie. If you're advertising the property for less than the listed price, you're violating your duties. Okay? Can we advise the seller, hey, it's too high what you want?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can we accept offers that are below the listed price and try to negotiate?
Yes.
Absolutely. Can we relist the property later at a lower price? Absolutely. What we cannot do, if it's listed for $100,000, we offer it on the market for 80. Okay? 50. Which of the following represents a voluntary lien? Mortgage, special assessment, estate tax, or ad valorem tax? This should be easy. Correct answer for voluntary lien is
A.
mortgage. Calculators. This is the skip. See, I already knew what he was going to say. A house sold for $157,000. The broker charged a 6% commission and divided it as follows: 10% to salesperson Allen, who took the listing, and the rest divided equally between salesperson Betty, who made a sale, and the broker's office. What was Allen's commission? If you guys read properly, there's too much info. There's some stuff not needed. The house sold for $157,000. Commission was 6%. 10% to Allen. How much did Allen get? That's pretty much what it asks. Go ahead. Ready? I'm waiting. Correct answer is 942, 4,710, 9,420, or 15,700. Correct answer for 51 is
Hey.
A as in apple. Why? Because 157 times 6% is 9,420. But that's the 6%. Is that what Alan got?
No.
You got 10% of that. So you got $942 in his pocket. Okay?
You got it.
52. Smith Water Hole Company constructed the swimming pool. On completion, they filed a lien for non-payment. This was most likely A, general lien, special lien, construction lien, or voluntary lien. Write down the answer. 52. The correct answer is?
C.
It's construction. There's no slowing down. It's construction. Obviously, construction lien.
Then I have to X out that one. 'Cause I didn't answer.
You didn't answer? It's
Talking to
construction.
myself.
Okay. 53. The term leverage. I think we heard this before, right?
Sure did.
Sure did, right? That's it. The term leverage refers to Bob Marley, the movement of the people, right? That enhances the value. Who has the song in their head right now? Love it. That enhances the value in the area. The use of borrowed money to finance most of an investment. Using influence at the bank to make a loan. Or measuring the impact of cash flow. Correct answer.
B.
It's not movement of the people.
No, A. Wait.
B. Use borrowed money to finance the purchase. 54. Two more questions and we get to eat. The illegal practice of inducing panic selling in the neighborhood for financial gain is called steering, redlining, blockbusting, or canvassing. Correct answer for 54 is
C.
C, blockbusting. Very good. That's why I slowed down. Panic selling, blockbusting. 55. A broker must obey the seller's instructions to avoid all mention of a septic system, show the property only to white couples, refuse low offers without presenting them, or be present personally at all showings of the property. Correct answer for 55 is
D.
D as in David. I thought it was the white couples, but no. D as in David. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, so a quick break. I'm going to set up part 2 so we can go back. You guys enjoy. There's food in the back. There's coffee. There's soda in the fridge. There's water. And there's a bathroom if you guys need to
Is there?
unload before we reload.
That's a good idea.
Whoever's watching from home, we're going to be right back in a few minutes.
Oh, they
And then this hour,
They're missing the